Welcome back to Vintage Story. So today, I think the most important thing we need to do first is to assess our garden over here, which we've been ignoring for a while. I do need to expand now the vegetables and that kind of stuff. And what we've got set up here is perfect for that, if we can just open this up. On top of that, I will also like to put some proper fencing down here. So first things first, let's go and check and see what tools we have available to us for this job. Alright. We'll also check on our other veggies at the moment, which should be doing, yeah, stage 2, that's good. Stage 1 still on the onion. The same with the spelt as well. First things first, let's go and till the ground. And I think also I will remove this tree that's here. It's going to be more of a problem than anything. Right, we have forest floor here, so we need to get rid of all of this. I think I will also cut this tree down as well. Okay, the next thing I need to do is to go and find some decent quality soil. Okay, so I have returned and I now have some medium fertility soil. Unfortunately, I was unable to find anything of a higher grade, but I do believe at some point we will be able to make higher quality soil for ourselves. Okay, now time to till. And I think that should be okay for now. We can enhance that at some point in the future. So the next thing we need to do is to water it. Not that we need any water right now, but we're going to pick up our bucket and fill our little hole in the ground. Okay, that's that sorted. Excellent. Let's get some seeds. I'll fill the bucket up just as a useful addition for later. Where's that? Now our seeds. Okay. So we have turnip seeds. I think this would be quite a good one for us to be doing. 9 days isn't too bad. We also want some grain as well. Onions... Right, 17 days. Okay, that would explain why it appears that they're not growing that well. Well, I guess a bit of both then. And some parsnips, 18 days as well. It's not really going to give us much of a haul either on that one, so we'll save the space on that. Now when it comes to grain, ideally we want as much grain as we can get. This will help us through the winter. Now another thing I want to do, thanks to one of our community commenters, is to not forget to prepare the rawhide that we have here. We can do this with fat. And so I think this one may be past the point of being able to cure it. That's possible. Alright, so we basically add oil and we allow it to then cure. And we will continue to do that with all of our leather. And so now we have 4 pieces of leather. Later on, when this is cured, we will be able to use this to create a hunter's backpack, which is very useful, slightly more storage in our inventory space here. And also, I shall take these. We are able to place the curing leather in any container, so this should be good for us here. Right, pop this back up here. And let's go and seed. Well, we have a little space for some extra, so let's go and get what we have left, and we'll get them growing as well, now that we know we have the space for it. So spelt and parsnips. Well, again, I will choose the spelt, I think, over the parsnip. Let's see what we've got here. We've got 4 here, 4 over on this side. I'm loath to mix this, but I think we will mix that there, and we can have 1 more spelt. Alright, that's good. We have 1 seed bag remaining. That's pretty well optimized, I think, for what we need to do. And we also do have, of course, the other seeds. And if we come back in here... So yeah, heat is a problem here at the moment for the turnips. The onions seem to be doing okay. And the rye. 25 degrees Celsius. It's a tricky one, but we just have to make do with what we have. And so it's the next day. And I think the next thing I would like to do is to put a proper fence down in this area. So I'm going to remove the wall that we've created for safety at the beginning. And we're going to replace this now with a nice wooden fence. This will give us a much better ability to see out what's behind or outside of our base. It'll also look much nicer as well. We also like to place little posts to be able to put lights on top of as well. I find this is a great way to have light cast over the areas where you're farming and basically around the house. You can put lanterns on them, which is nice. Or if you can't afford lanterns early game because of the requirements for the materials with the lanterns, you can also put oil lamps on them, which adds a little glow. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And I think we will have a little fence here as well, a gate, if I can. Yeah. Can make 1. Very low on sticks at the moment. That's another thing I need to sort out. And so now we can get out this way as well if we need to. And so the next thing I'm going to do is to place down some pathway here next to the garden. That's a nice little touch. And we will carry that around the house as well. For now I've only got a limited amount, so hopefully I have enough to fill this patch here. And we have plenty more resources to create more pathway, but for now I'm going to keep it a little bit simple. We're going to get back to this area here, and now I'm going to create some more fence line along this edge here too. This is where we get to really open up the house a little bit, feel a little less enclosed. And although the fence is shorter, it will offer us exactly the same amount of security. I see we have some high fertility soil here. Well, this is good. We will swap that out. I like to put the occasional post out in the open as well, but I've just realised we have a tree growing here and that won't go very well against that. So instead, I guess I can pop it over here. This is just for our little work area if we ever need to come out when it's late and dark. And so there we have our little house. Now has proper fence, which will give us the same level of protection, but now we can see out. And we will probably also readjust this area here too, but for now I'm going to keep it as it is. So I'm also reminded that I need to remove the wall from our garden here so we can place down a slightly nicer little area. Probably at some point when we expand we will remove it altogether, but for now, while they're growing, might as well make the most of it. There we go. there we now have our pathway surrounding the house. Slightly faster speed. We can possibly throw another one here. There we go. And so we now have a slightly nicer looking garden and fence line. We have our berry bushes that are growing nicely. This one is quite tall. I think I've actually placed one on top of the other here. So I will remove that. Maybe I think it's supposed to be in here actually. Yeah. Excellent. And so it's just coming up to evening now, and I noticed that we have our first batch of honey ready for us. Now when we open this skep here with the honey in it, we must be mindful to replace it again afterwards. We should have enough reeds to do that at the moment, but I'm not absolutely sure. But however, I am going to take this honey from here now, and this is where we will see how the bees react, and hopefully they will decide to attack this dummy over here. So yeah, let's give it a try and collect our goods. Okay, so the bees have been kind on this particular occasion. They didn't swarm or attack. We do have populations growing in here now, which is good. And we now have some honeycomb. So what we need to do is take this honeycomb and refine it into wax and honey. So we place our bucket down, and then we squeeze the wax out of the honeycomb, or the honey rather, out of the honeycomb. And you can see here we've got... There we go. We now have beeswax, and we have a bucket full of honey, which we can place in the main house. I've had to use the bucket from the kitchen for now, but we will make another one when we get some flax through, or if we're able to get some more twine. And so now with the beeswax we should be able to create a candle. Oh, there we go. We now have one candle. And this means that we can now create a lantern, which is a very important part of maintaining light without needing to carry this flaming torch around everywhere. So let's have a look and see what we have here. I think it's in one of the other chests that we have some more. Yes, we do. Okay, and quickly grab that. See if we can make a skep. It's probably not going to be possible, but we'll see. We can. Excellent. So we don't have many reeds left over, unfortunately, after that, but not a problem. We can always go and gather some more later. And now we will take this skep and replace it. And repeat the process. And there we go. Always make sure we close our fence here so that we don't get any critters coming in. Raccoons come in here and they steal the honey from the hive. And we can see actually that our original skep up there has honey in it and is waiting, but we want to maintain that one so that if all of these fail or if we accidentally forget to replace them, we always make sure we have at least one honey skep with a good population of bees inside it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a lantern. I know for some people a lantern might be considered a little bit early for doing such a thing with the resources we have, but in this game light is your friend, most definitely. And unfortunately with the wooden torches, accidents can happen and the light can be extinguished and it can leave you in a very vulnerable position. So by creating our lantern, we will be able to prevent it from extinguishing. So first off, we are going to start heating up some tin bronze ingots to bring them up to temperature. Now the brighter the metal, the lighter the lantern. There is silver in this game as well, I believe, and I believe that that lantern is the brightest of all of the lanterns. The copper lantern is not so good because it's a little darker, and so I like to make the bronze if possible. Let's just light this first. There we go. Now we can put these back on there. And you can see it's still a little bit dark outside, so we'll put that one up here. Give us some light in here. So if I go to the help. And here we go. So we have the bronze lantern here. Tin bronze, that's the one we want. And so you can see here we just need one candle, one tin bronze plate, and some clear quartz on either side, and we can create our lantern. That can then be placed into our offhand as a permanent light source that will not go out if you go underwater. So now we just need to wait for this. And so now that our bronze is up to temperature, we need to pick up our ingot, and now we can begin the process of a bronze plate, which I believe is this one here. Yes! We can take our hammer, making sure that we've switched it back. I'm going to start with the heavy hit, because that spreads the copper nicely, or the metal nicely. And now we're going to grab the other piece, and we're going to add it to this piece. And so now that we have our bronze plates, we can craft our lantern. And there we are. One lantern. We will place it into our offhand, and you can see now, there it is in our offhand. It's a little less aggressive on the screen, which is nice, and we now have a permanent light source, which is great. The lanterns can also be placed around the property as well, which is very useful. You can have them on the posts outside, as I was showing you earlier, and you can hang them on the walls, put them above your door, all that sort of stuff, and it will again not be extinguished by any rain. It won't burn out over time. It will just maintain light permanently for you until it's destroyed or removed. In fact, I will show you a quick example. And there we are. There's our little lantern sitting outside our house. And you can pick it up quite easily. And then again we can place it. So if you're working in, for example, a mining area, and it's dark, and you want to have, for whatever reason, two hands free, you can simply place the lantern on the ground in front of you and continue working. And so that is our first example of how the skeps work, how the honeybees work, and how important the bees are in the game for opening up some extremely essential facilities inside the game. And also, before I switch to the next task, I believe we have some additional plates available here. I believe we have some fat remaining. Yes, we do. Okay, so we have some fat. I'm going to take a bowl, and I'm also going to create an oil lamp. And again, this is a good example of how you can create a very simple light source that is fairly permanent. I have a mod that allows for hanging oil lamps. By default, I believe all you can do is place them down on a surface or attach them to a wall. But this is a very good way of making sure that you are well lit, or that you can see things from a distance perhaps that you might want to keep a track of or an eye on. So in this particular case, I guess we will just put it above the door in the house here. There we go. And now we have a little oil lamp. I think this is the perfect opportunity to end the episode here. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.